Imagine this. You've just uploaded your 10th video. You've spent 40 hours editing. You've said like and subscribe so many times you hear it in your sleep. And you check your YouTube Studio dashboard for the 100th time today. Your balance? $0. 0 cents. Now here's the part that should terrify you. Most people who start a YouTube channel will never see a single cent from it. Not $1. Ever. They'll quit before they figure out the one thing separating broke creators from paid ones. So today, we're going to answer a question that sounds simple, but is secretly one of the most confusing problems on the internet. How does a tiny YouTube channel with almost no views actually make its very first dollar? And I promise you, the answer is weirder, slower, and way more interesting than you think. Let's start with the problem. Because most new creators think making money on YouTube works like this. You upload a video, people watch it, YouTube pays you. Simple, right? Wrong. So wrong, it's almost funny. Here's what actually happens when you're small. You upload video after video. Weeks turn into months. Your view count creeps up. 12 views. 47 views. Your mom watches it twice because she forgot she already saw it. And your revenue? Still 0. Why? Because YouTube doesn't just hand out money to anyone with a camera and a dream. There's a locked door in front of every new channel, and most people don't even know the door exists. That door is called the YouTube Partner Program. And to even knock on it, you need two things: 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of total watch time in the past year. Or if you're doing shorts, 10 million shorts views in 90 days. Let that sink in for a second. 4,000 hours. That's not 4,000 views. That's 4,000 hours of actual human eyeballs staring at your content. If one person watched your channel nonstop, day and night, never sleeping, never blinking, it would take them almost half a year. So here's your first big question. How is a brand new creator with basically zero audience supposed to rack up thousands of hours of watch time before they've even figured out how to hold a camera steady? This is where most channels die. Not because their content is bad, because they hit this invisible wall and give up before breaking through it. But this wasn't even the biggest problem, because even after you cross that wall, even after you unlock monetization, you still might not see a dollar. And here's why that surprises almost everyone. YouTube ad money isn't some fixed price. It's not like 10 views equals $1. It fluctuates wildly based on something called CPM, which is basically how much advertisers are willing to pay to show their ad on your video. A video about finance or software might earn 10 times more per view than a video about, say, funny cat compilations. Same views, wildly different paycheck. So two channels, same subscriber count, same view count, can have completely different bank accounts. One might make $5 from 10,000 views, another might make $200. What happened next for a lot of creators was even worse. They realized ad revenue for a small channel is often pathetic, like embarrassingly small. We're talking channels with tens of thousands of views making less money than a part-time job flipping burgers for one afternoon. So if ads weren't the answer, how does anyone actually make their very first real dollar? Here's the part nobody talks about. The first dollar almost never comes from YouTube ads. It comes from somewhere else entirely. Think about it like farming. Ads are the harvest at the very end of a very long season. But before harvest, smart farmers sell smaller things along the way. Eggs, milk, whatever the farm produces early on. For YouTube creators, those eggs and milk moments look like this. A brand sends you a free product and pays you $50 to mention it in a video even though you only have 800 subscribers. Someone in your comments asks if you sell merch, so you slap your channel logo on a t-shirt and someone actually buys it. A fan, moved by a video that genuinely helped them, clicks a tip jar link and sends you $5 just to say thanks. None of that requires the YouTube Partner Program. None of it requires 4,000 hours of watch time. It just requires one thing that surprises almost everyone: trust. Not views, not subscribers, Trust. A channel with 300 subscribers who trust you completely will often make more money than a channel with 30,000 subscribers who don't care about you at all. The real reason may surprise you. Money on YouTube doesn't follow attention, it follows connection. Let's talk about how creators actually solve this problem, because the strategies are honestly kind of genius when you break them down. Some small creators found their first dollar through something called affiliate links. Basically, you recommend a product you actually like, you drop a special link in your description, and if someone buys through that link, you get a cut. No subscriber requirement, no watch time requirement, just you being helpful and someone trusting your recommendation enough to click. Others found it through something even simpler. Asking. Just literally asking their small but loyal audience, hey, if this helped you, here's a link where you can buy me a coffee. And people did, because when content actually helps someone, they want to give back. And some of the smartest small creators skipped ads entirely and went straight to selling something they made themselves. A digital guide, a simple template, even a single graphic design file. Because here's a wild fact that trips almost every beginner. You don't need a single YouTube subscriber to sell a digital product through your video description. You just need someone willing to buy it. Things get even stranger when you look at how YouTube's algorithm quietly nudges this whole process along. Because the algorithm doesn't actually care how many subscribers you have. It cares whether people who click on your video keep watching it. A channel with 200 subscribers can absolutely outperform a channel with 200,000 if the smaller channel's audience is more engaged, which means your first dollar might come from a completely random video that suddenly gets recommended to strangers who've never heard of you before, purely because they watched it all the way through. This is where a surprising fact comes in that trips up almost every beginner. You'd think the way to get your first dollar faster is to post as many videos as possible, quantity over everything. But the data tells a different story. Channels that spend more time making one video genuinely worth watching until the end tend to unlock monetization faster than channels pumping out 5 rushed videos a week. Because remember, YouTube isn't counting your videos, it's counting the hours humans spend watching them. One incredible 10-minute video watched by 600 people is worth more, mathematically, than 5 mediocre videos nobody finishes. So here's what modern people get wrong again and again. They think YouTube pays you for making videos. It doesn't. YouTube pays you for making people stay. Every early second of your video is basically an audition, convincing a stranger to not click away. The creators who understand this obsess over their first 15 seconds, because that's the moment deciding if the rest of the video, and eventually the rest of your channel, ever gets watched at all. And here's the second thing people get wrong. They wait for permission. They think, I'll start selling something once I hit 10,000 subscribers. But the small creators who actually made their first dollar the fastest didn't wait for a big number. They started offering value on day 1, at 11 subscribers, at 50 subscribers, at whatever tiny number they were sitting at. Because it turns out, the first person willing to pay you doesn't care about your subscriber count. They care about whether your content made their life a little bit better. So let's zoom out for a second, because there's a bigger lesson hiding inside all of this. Making your first dollar on YouTube was never really about cracking some secret algorithm code. It was about understanding that attention and money are two completely different currencies. You can have a ton of one and almost none of the other. The channels that figured this out stopped chasing views for the sake of views and started chasing something much smaller and much more powerful. A handful of people who actually trusted them. And maybe that's the real twist in this whole story. The internet convinces us that success means being huge. Millions of views, millions of subscribers, a blue checkmark, a verified badge. But your very first dollar, the one that proves this whole crazy idea can actually work, usually comes from an audience so small you could probably list their names from memory. So if you're sitting there right now with 12 subscribers and $0 in your YouTube balance, here's the thought to leave you with. You are not too small to get paid. You're just early. And somewhere out there, among the handful of people already watching your videos, is the one person who's about to become the reason you never forget your very first dollar.